Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the Julia the Knitter podcast. I'm Julia, howdy, and I'm coming to you from Queens, New York, where I live with my handsome husband, my two crazy kids, and my wild beast dog. This is a podcast mainly about knitting, sometimes about sewing and other crafts, whatever I happen to be dabbling in at the time. And I am glad to be back, and I hope that you guys are all doing well. Hey and hello to any new viewers, and welcome back to the craziness to all you returning viewers. So today is February 15th. It is a Friday and I am home, which is very nice. I actually had something going on this morning and hopefully it went well, and that's what I'm going to say about that. So the knitting, why you're all here. I have no finished things for you guys this week. I was kind of hoping to have something finished, but it was not meant to be. I'm sorry. So I will dive right into what I have been working on. And project number one is the Coast Range socks by Lindsey Fowler, who is Lost and Fallen on Instagram. And this first project that I'm going to show you is a test knit that I'm working on for her. The Coast Range socks are not out yet, but they will be, I hope, soon. They are a wonderful pattern, and I know I spoke about them a little bit last week, but I'll give you a quick brief overview and I'll show you where I'm at. So I am working on these socks out of this gorgeous blue yarn by Dyed in the Wool, in her Icefield colorway, and this is the Yakety Yak sock base, which is 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. This is her yarn label. This is my first time working with yak in yarn, and it is nice. The yarn has the softness of merino, but it also has the toughness of, say, a BFL. Not toughness, but hard wearing feel to it that BFL does. And it's just got such a nice color. I'm really liking that blue. It's a really nice tonal. I'd say it's coming off a little bluer on camera. I'd say it's slightly greener in person, more of a teal, dark teal. But either way, it's gorgeous. I have finished the first sock, and I'm actually going to pop it on a blocker so you can get a better look at it. I have woven in the ends, but I have not blocked this sock yet, and I was hoping to do that this weekend. I'm hoping to finish maybe both the socks. If I can get the second sock done this weekend or in the next few days, I'll probably block them both together, but I know my deadline for having one sock finished is coming up, so I'd like to get that done and ready to report on for Lindsey. So this is the sock. It has this really gorgeous pattern on the top of the foot and the front of the leg with yarn overs and decreases. And then you see here there's a nice little cable going down the leg into the heel flap, which is really cool. It's nice to have something going on the heel flap. I've never done a pattern like that before. I've seen a few that carry on the pattern into the heel flap, but this is the first time I've done one, and it was really nice. And the back of the leg is slip stitch, kind of like when you do a slip stitch heel flap. It's like that all the way up the leg. So the back feels like it's got a nice extra layer. It's a little durable feeling, and it actually comes to be a real nice design feature. The sock is knit from the top, from the cuff down, with the heel flap and gusset, and a nice rounded toe. Finished off with the Kitchener, which that's how I like my socks. So it was great. It was a really nice pattern to work on. I did find that it took me a little while to memorize the pattern, so to speak. I am on the second sock and I'm working on the leg. Hold on, my needles are a little awry here. I am, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 repeats done on the leg. And I did 8 repeats on the first sock. So I've got about 2 more repeats to go. This is actually probably about where I was on the first sock the last time we spoke. So I've got the leg going. Again, it's gorgeous, and what's nice about this time around is I know the pattern, so I don't have to keep going back and forth to the pattern itself. It's got the cables going along the side and the nice slip stitch back of the leg. It's really been a pleasure to work on this pattern. The 2 patterns that I'm currently, my projects are both by Lindsey. This is the first time that I've worked on her patterns. I've admired from afar. She has a really nice sock pattern called White Thorn, I think it is, which has this real big cable going along the front of the leg into the foot, and it's really nice. I like her patterns. I haven't knit them up. Well, now I'm knitting them, and I'm loving it. So I see this being a beautiful friendship. I see a lot more of her patterns in my future. What's nice about this pattern is, what's nice about the 2 patterns that I have on the needles currently is that they both are very different, and when I have energy to work on something a little bit more complicated than plain old garter and stockinette, these socks are perfect because 1, they're portable, you can take them around with you, which is why I like having a sock on the needles, but 2, you have to think a little bit about what you're doing, which is, it's nice. You don't have to think really hard, especially it's a pretty memorizable pattern. Once you know the pattern, you go and you just have to think about and pay attention to where you are in the pattern, and that's it. It's pretty easy. In fact, last night I realized I was maybe a little too tired to have been working on them, and I messed them up, so I had to take out about half a repeat. Because, guys, don't knit pattern socks when you're tired. Duh. Wasn't following my own rules. That's the way it goes. So I'm trying to, get them done, because I'd like to have them finished and blocked and in my sock drawer ready to go. But what's nice about these is that I have not gotten to the point in the pattern where I like, oh my god, I can't stand working on these. That's why I like working 2 socks at a time, because they're done. By the time you have 1 sock done, you have them both done. So I know I've been doing a lot of my socks 1 at a time lately. I don't love doing that, because sometimes I get to a point where I'm like, oh, all right, I just want to be done with this now. It happens. Whatever. I haven't gotten there yet with these. I'm still just tickled pink by this pattern. So again, here is the Coast Range socks that are soon to be released by Lindsey Fowler. Next up, I guess it's a Lindsey Fowler kind of day, because my other project is my Bennet Sisters Shawl, which I spoke about last time also. I am knitting this up in some yarn by Woolberry Fiber Co. And getting my colorways. This is the Berry Merino colorway on her, Berry Merino base on her Sunset Walks colorway, which is 100% superwash merino. And it's real nice, light blush pink. It's got these dark speckles of plum and eggplant. Sometimes there's a little yellow in there. But it's a real nice, soft, very feminine color, I feel. And I'm also using, with it, her merino base, mohair. Now, I know I mentioned I don't normally work with mohair because, to be honest, I was a little afraid of it. I've worked with mohair once or twice, long time ago, and I didn't love it. And I felt it was a little itchy, but I'll be honest, this is nice. This whole pattern has been a little bit of an experiment. So the 2 together actually go very nicely. She sold them as a kit, and I don't, off the top of my head, remember the name of this kit. She named them all after the Pride and Prejudice sisters. This is the Berry Mohair base, which is 72% mohair and 28% silk in her Antique Shop colorway. I really like the Woolberry Fiber yarns. She has a nice color sense. I like her colors. I think I mentioned last time that I knit up my excuse me, my Impressionist Mystery Knit-Along shawl out of her yarns, and she just has nice colors. I like the way she puts colors together. I really enjoy the colors that she has on here. There's some oranges, some purples, little pinks. But together, when you hold them together, they look really nice. They're not so different that you have a completely different color, but I'll show you where I'm at. So this is the Bennet Sisters Shawl. Again, it's by Lindsey Fowler, and you knit it from corner to corner, side to side, basically. So where's my top? Here we go. It is a triangular shawl, so you start over here, and you work and work, and you're increasing. What's really nice, it has a nice I-cord edge on all the sides, which I like a nice I-cord edge. And then when you get to the halfway point, you add in the mohair. You can see, I don't know if it's going to come up. You can see, here's the line. You can see a little subtle difference in the color. It's a little bit more orangey to it. But, let's see, can I stand up and show you? So this is where I was at last time. I'm going to hold it this way because that's the way I'm knitting. But it's garter stitch, garter stitch, garter stitch, and then you start doing, kind of see this line here, there's a stockinette triangle. And then when you get to the halfway point, the stockinette goes again this way. So you got your garter and your stockinette. And the color is really nice. It's something about this pattern. You see the orange pops in a little bit more on with the mohair. I find that this pattern, one, is gorgeous. Two, there's something very feminine about it, which I really like. I'm not the girliest of girls, but I don't consider myself to be not feminine. And this, I feel like it has some very modern lines in it. I'm tracing them here on the pattern in my lap. It has modern lines in it, which is nice. Very geometric lines to it, which I feel gives it a nice modern edge. But it's got the softness, and the color is nice, and it just, I don't know, I just like it. So it's been going along swimmingly. It's especially nice to have the two of these different projects on my needles, because this one has been so nice. Like when you don't really have a lot of headspace left, you can just kind of work on something quiet and peacefully, and your mind is at ease, and you don't have to think too hard. It's good, especially there's a lot of different viruses going around right now, and let's just be frank. I feel like my kids have gotten every single one of them. My daughter had a really bad cold last weekend, and I actually thought it might be strep, so I took her to the doctor. Thankfully, everything came back negative. But she just had a really high fever and a really bad sore throat, and she just did not have the energy to do anything. So what did we do? I introduced her to the beautiful world of Alfred Hitchcock. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. If you don't know this about me, I really like classic movies. I'm a classic movie kind of girl. Stuff from the 40s and 50s are just, that's my jam. I love a good Cary Grant movie, Bogart, Ingrid Bergman. They just make my heart sing. Billy Wilder movies are some of my favorites. But I love Alfred Hitchcock also. I'm not a huge scary movie person, which is surprising that I like Hitchcock, but I don't know. I don't consider him to be so scary as much as he is suspenseful or a thriller. So I had told my daughter about Rear Window a few months ago. I was like, you know, I think you might like this. It's a pretty good movie. And she's, you know, I'm trying to bring her over to the dark side of classic film. And something she likes and something she doesn't. She doesn't like all the movies I like, and it's nice that she has her own little personality and her own favorites, and she doesn't really have a problem saying like, Mom, that movie was just so boring. I hated it. And that's fine. Oh, is it black and white? But so Rear Window is not black and white. And I mean, if you watch that as a little girl, please try and tell me that you did not want to be Grace Kelly when you grew up, because man, she has the greatest wardrobe, and I just love her. Who doesn't love Grace? I know. But that movie was great. So I said, oh, you're not feeling well. Your brother's taking a nap. Let's see if we can get a copy of Rear Window. So we downloaded it and we watched it, and she loved it, which was nice. It was good. It was good. She loved it. She's like, can we watch another Hitchcock movie? So I said, yes. So we watched North by Northwest, which is another good one, and Cary Grant is spectacular as always. I love Cary Grant. He actually always makes me think of my Aunt Claire, who her sisters and her, who was one is more gorgeous than the next, convinced Cary Grant to take them out for lunch and tell them, we're your cousins. It turns out they actually were, but he took them out for lunch and they had a great day, and apparently he was a perfect gentleman and very kind, and I love that story. So I love Cary Grant. So I told her, now listen, this one's a little slow, but if you can hang in there, it's a really good one. It's a classic, and you'll start to see things in these movies that are referenced in modern film and TV shows and stuff like that all the time. So she watched that. We wound up having like a Hitchcock marathon all weekend. And she's a little young, so I didn't put on The Birds or Psycho, because one, I think Birds is pretty scary, and I haven't watched Psycho yet myself. I hear that one's pretty scary too. But it was fun. We had a nice little Hitchcock afternoon, and I'm hoping to do that again real soon. So that's that. She's finally starting to feel better, and that's good. I'm hoping to get all these germs out of this house, because we have just been infested and infected with everything. And I don't want it. I don't want any of these colds. I had a bad cold myself about 2 weeks ago, and I don't want it back. So that being said, that is actually all the knitting that I have on the needles for you guys today. I do have a tale of woe when it comes to a knitting project. A few years ago, I knit a cardigan out of, I'm looking to see if I have it over there handy, out of Quince & Co yarns. It is a pattern out of Botanical Knits. What is her name? Alana Dakos. I can't remember the name of the pattern. Twigs and something. But it was a gorgeous, like a mustardy kind of color. And it had like it looked like a collarbone almost with leaves coming out of it, which I really like the detail on it. And I was wearing it to work recently, and I realized that I wore ginormous holes into the elbows. So I'm a little sad about that, because it was one of my favorite projects, one of my favorite things to wear, and it was great because I could throw it on with everything. So I have to cast on a sweater. So my plan is, once I finish these socks, my goal is to pick out a sweater. Now, I have a few, sorry, I've got a very dry throat today. I have a few sweaters in mind and sweater quantities of yarn lined up for them, but they're all pullovers. And I may have to change some of those plans to a cardigan. So my question to you guys for this week, do you have any cardigan patterns that are your go-to sweater, or you've got to knit this is such a great pattern? That's what I'm looking for. So I want to hear what you got, and that's all I've got for you guys today. So go do your homework, go find me some sock patterns, go scout out some cardigan patterns, and let me know what you're all working on. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.